Welcome everyone to our panel. I'm Linda. I'm very excited to join with two industrial leaders, NVIDIA, who's driving the Edge AI breakthrough all around the globe. And Deloitte is a global leader in consulting and system integration. Okay, so next we will explore how intelligence intelligence at the edge is not just only evolving, but also reshaping how industry will operate. So the first question I'd like to ask John is that I know on the smart manufacturing factory is eager to deploy the AI trend. And from previous familiar slide, talk about 143 billion US dollars opportunity in year 2032. Despite of the number, what do you think the most transformative trend in the world from Edge AI?
Oh, thank you. Yes, Linda. Yes, okay. So the trend, so we are seeing, so these days is that, so the manufacturers are are implementing the Edge AI, so to mitigate the risks, the associated with so-called data explosion. So let me give you the context. The first about the data explosion. Yes, as you can see, so the slide shows advancement of IT and OT convergence. And so basically speaking, so IT takes care of the management and the planning. And on the other hand, OT tackles with the everyday production. So in the 1970s to until the 1980s, so the IT and OT didn't have much interaction. So the interaction we could see is that that's about the MRP, material resource planning. So as you know, the MRP, so the OT layer, so for the information of the production results. So that's the only thing. But as the time goes by, so in 90s, so the IT layer, so we see the ERP and MES and the internet. And at the same time, OT sees the SCADA. So as you can see, the MES and the SCADA, so taking hands in hand, so they interacted, the start interaction. So then we can see we can see that there's the period of limited convergence of IT and OT. Okay, so I skipped the 2010. And so at the present, so now we are seeing that virtual PLC, the virtual program logic controller. So which means all the OT production equipment can be controlled by software. So now we are saying that we are saying the software-defined factories. So as Jetson Thor puts it, today's presentation, and which means we are seeing the many sensors and actuators in today's factories, which means before just a moment. And now we are seeing some the data amount, the exponential increase of the data amount of industrial data. Yes. So then which means that we are seeing the data explosion, and now but data explosion entails the many risks. Yes. Next, please. And as you can see, the data explosion. Oh yes, time's up. Sorry. So there are three risks: operational risk, cybersecurity risks, and the financial risks. And then that helps the manufacturers to mitigate the Edge AI. I don't know the Edge AI to mitigate those risks.
Thank you, John. So thank you for the clear overview of how industry is changing. And we all believe that the complexity for Edge AI is going more higher and higher. So I would like to ask Deepu from NVIDIA, with all the complexity, how NVIDIA is helping industrial customers to overcome the real-world challenge when they adopt Edge AI.
Yeah, so in fact, Linda, if you heard Jetson Thor in this keynote just a couple of hours ago, he mentioned that in the next 3 years, there's going to be approximately $5 trillion worth of factories and automation being built. And in fact, last week I was at the largest automation conference in North America called Automate. And the trend's pretty clear, right? Which is we need more and more automation is going to come from autonomous using AI, right? If you look at the last 30 years, there has been automation done for high volume applications, basically two big applications, right? One was automotive and the other one was high volume semiconductor electronics manufacturing. But almost all of that is completely pre-programmed. Humans, programmers, programming these machines. In the last 10 years, with the advent of AI, deep learning, there have been many AI algorithms that have been we've been trying to deploy into this to make them more and more autonomous. There was some success, you could say, but it's largely those deployments have been very brittle and very flaky because the technology is not general enough and it doesn't scale well across multiple factories because of changing conditions, because a lot of the manufacturing is small and medium, so there's going to be a lot of high mix. So we have a huge challenge. So then the question is, how do we really solve this problem? Well, it turns out the slowest way, what I've learned in the last 10 plus years working on robotics and edge AI, the slowest way to get there is working on the destination directly. The destination, of course, is the end robot or the end edge device, right? But developing AI and testing AI and deploying AI on the edge device, it's very hard. So what we have realized in the last few years at NVIDIA is you actually need 3 computers to solve this problem. The third computer, which is the ultimate goal, is the deployment computer. But the fastest way to deploy AI in the third computer is to work on the first 2 computers very quickly. The first computer is about training the AI, creating the AI. And if any one of you watched the keynote at Computex just a couple of hours ago, Jensen elaborately presented about the DGX and the cloud and data center, right? All the AI factories that NVIDIA and the rest of the whole ecosystem is building. So that's about training and creating the AI. Once you train the AI, you have to test it, right? And testing it in simulation is the best answer. It's the safest, fastest, and cheapest. Think about it. It's safe because you can break things in simulation, nothing bad happens. But if you try to test it in the real world, how many robots can you really build before you can test it? It's also fast because you can run in simulation orders of magnitude faster than wall clock time in the real world. And then of course it's also cheap because you can run thousands of simulations in parallel. Now, the idea of simulation itself is not new, right? Anybody of you here chip designers by any chance? Have worked in chip design? There's a few, right? I worked in chip design 20 years ago. In fact, anybody that builds a chip, they will never send it to manufacturing until they emulated it 100%. Until you do the whole testing in simulation and emulation, you'll never tape it out. But in the case of robotics, that's not been the case. In the case of edge AI, that's not been the case. And the reason is because the technology was not good enough. The simulation, the so-called sim-to-real gap, has been big enough that you can't trust the result. But in the last year, 2 big technologies have reached a tipping point, reached a reasonable amount of maturity that we can start doing a lot of these experiments. Number one, I think you all know, what started off as generative AI, the ChatGPT moment that came into digital AI. Now you can take those same LLMs, VLMs, language action models, vision action models, and so on. And now we can experiment with those for edge and robotics applications. So that's one technology that's really reached a tipping point. And number 2, of course, is simulation. We've been working on simulation for even longer. We've been working on a platform called Omniverse for over 15 years. And with new physics engines, with using Gen AI to actually do some of this simulation to generate synthetic data, these 2 technologies are finally enabling us to do the build and test in simulation much faster. And then when you like an answer, you deploy it. And this loop across those 3 computers that you see on the slide is what it's all going to be about. So the fastest way to get edge AI deployed is actually build and test in simulation as much as possible.
Yeah, thank you, Deepu. It's very interesting, 3 computer solution from simulation, training to inference at the edge. But what do you see the next major evolution in edge AI, especially in robotics technology stack?
So in fact, robotics is an extremely hard problem, right? I mean, we've been at it for so long. Now that we have Gen AI, agentic AI, and then number 2, simulation, we can really, the trajectory, the slope of the curve of progress has significantly changed. If the last 10 years were going like this, now the curve has shifted like this. We're still very early in year 1 of that journey, but we are starting to see, if you look at the whole ecosystem, how many companies, how many startups are now working on foundation models for robotics. It's exploded just in the last 12 months. And in fact, if you think about what are the steps required to create and deploy this AI, there's fundamentally 4 steps. The first step actually is data generation. In the case of ChatGPT, internet already existed, right? All the data that we generated in the last 10, 20, 30 years was existing. So we could train on books and the whole internet data. But in the case of robotics, there's really not that good data. I actually wonder if you take all the YouTube data and train a humanoid robot, I think it might dance okay, but it'd be useless in a factory. I'm pretty sure of that, right? So data generation is a super important thing. And we are starting to see the trend of much of the work being done now in creating data. Now, what's the best way to create data? Of course, you could try to do human capture, you can do teleoperation, you can do imitation learning, you can do motion capture suit. All of that is good, but it's barely going to be a fraction of a person. So we need a lot more synthetic data. And that's what we're working on, and we see a lot of momentum happening in synthetic data generation. In fact, using Gen AI, using prompting, taking some real-world trajectories and creating hundreds and thousands of that. So the first step is data generation. Once you have the data, you have to train the model. And we have a lot of tools and libraries that are now available to train your AI model. And step 3, once you train it, you want to test it. And testing all this robot policy and simulation is the best answer. So again, we built a platform that's open, available for doing all the robot policy testing. And then lastly, once you test it in simulation, you absolutely want to bring it to the real world as quickly as possible, and because you want to check the sim to real gap. And then once you do that 4th step, this is a continuous loop, right? The moment we are building these edge devices, machines, autonomous machines, humanoid robots, whatever embodiment it is, once these are going to be deployed, they're going to be in the field for 5, 10, 15, 20 years, and they're going to have to get smarter and smarter. So this data flywheel across all these 4 steps of data generation, training, testing and simulation, and deployment is a continuous activity. And we are seeing a lot of work being done across the ecosystem. And I think because of this, edge AI is finally going to take off because we have the AI to actually deploy on the edge now.
Okay. Thank you, Deepu. I think this vision really brings to life of how foundational edge AI is becoming into the physical world, from the virtual model to the real-time decision at the edge. But at Advantech, I think any kind of edge AI solution is not just one-off solution. For Advantech, we provide the end-to-end product solution for AI workflow, from simulation, training, to real-time inference at the edge. AI-driven models start from simulation and training, what Deepu just sharing, and it is crucial for creating and refining the intelligent system. It will help the engineer to do the simulation and based on with the NVIDIA Universe-ready edge server powered by Advantech. And we support a virtual environment that can accelerate the simulation workload before we deploy into the market, and to minimize the risk and reducing the time to market. But when you come to the AI training, Advantech on-premise SkyRack solution, and we also provide the infrastructure is needed to be scale AI model effectively, which GPU accelerated computing enable high performance across a different process of AI workload. And also with a scalable storage solution and with a hybrid architecture of cloud and on-premise Advantech rack. And we are able to make it easy and effectively for the high-growing application market. But that's the bundled list. Advantech 3 computer solution with the Universe-ready edge server from Advantech, with Advantech SkyRack, and most important is the AI deployment at the edge. So Advantech has the full portfolio, power, and built-in with NVIDIA HX Orin that's provide the real-time performance and industrial-grade platform for mission-critical application for robotics, autonomous machine, and smart factory. But in addition to the 3 computers solution that we're Advantech in partnership with NVIDIA from the end to end, it's made 3 of us together, that Advantech, Deloitte, and NVIDIA. So one step further. So Deepu, why are the ecosystems so important to accelerate Edge AI deployment? And also, what is NVIDIA is helping to make it happen?
Yeah, in fact, I mean, NVIDIA, we don't make solutions, we don't make robots, we don't make Edge AI solution in the end, right? So we are a platform company, and we provide infrastructure, we provide acceleration libraries and reference models and workflows. Then we work with the whole ecosystem, starting with partners like Advantech. And Linda, can I spill a surprise?
Sure. Yes, live. You know, the live stream, we have 700 audience here. We have thousands audience on the video streaming on YouTube. Yes,
okay.
Thank you.
Well, okay. I don't know how I feel about that, but...
I'm excited for any surprise that for us.
Okay,
yes.
well, we are at Computex, right?
Yeah.
In fact, you know, you should visit Advantech's booth. And our latest generation 3rd computer, we call it Jetson Thor, for the first time in the world, is going to be publicly being shown at the Advantech booth. And you should check it out, and it's going to run some phenomenal edge robotics applications. It's going to run some of the world's best large language models in combination with vision language models, in combination with RAGs, all running locally on the edge device.
Thank you, Deepu. So actually, Deepu, you just say something I want to say in the coming my session. So Advantech is one of the leading partner to showcase the live demo of VSS, Video Search and Summarization, running on Advantech Jetson Thor enabled system at Computex. So I encourage everyone, tomorrow is day 1. Please, you must pay visit to Advantech to show the world first Jetson module, Thor live at Advantech. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Linda. By the way, we didn't rehearse this and surprise.
Yeah, we did not rehearse that, yes. Our team worked very hard to make it live in Computex as the pioneer and partners. Thank you.
Yeah,
yes.
but back to the ecosystem, right?
Yeah.
So deploying physical AI is extremely challenging, right? Number one, the first challenge, of course, is the technology problem itself, which we are all working on. But even if you solve the technology problem, you are now deploying this into existing workflows and tools that manufacturing facilities are already using. So it's super important that the ease of use and the deployment needs to work in existing infrastructure. Otherwise, it's extremely hard to deploy this at scale. And this is where partners like Deloitte come in, right? So this is why it's multi-layer ecosystem. We got technology provider like NVIDIA, we got system builders and core technology on top like Advantech, and then we need solution integrator and consulting and deployment companies like Deloitte. So it's a multi-tiered ecosystem that's absolutely necessary in order to deploy Edge AI and then maintain it for many, many years, right?
That's what we do. Yeah, thank you,
yes.
Deepu.
Thank you, thank you, yes. So Deepu, thank you very much for your sharing. I believe a strong ecosystem is truly a multiplier accelerate the AI with a great technology, great integration, and great partnership to scale. Next one I want to share is that at Advantech, we found the industrial. We focus on edge computing, as Casey Miller just mentioned, edge computing and wise edge in action. We will address the unique challenge for the industrial customer when they deploy the AI at the edge. So the challenge where is that the real-time performance, ultra-low latency, and security and IO flexibility. And we have full product portfolio embed with NVIDIA, Jetson, Orin, AGX, and IGS all together. And we enable the deployment from perceptional AI, generative AI, and to agentic AI, and last but not least, the physical AI. Among this, we see physical AI is a fast emerging area where the perception is go beyond the perception and real-time decision, where the machine interacts real-time with the environment. For this, that we embed that, as I mentioned previously, NVIDIA HX O-ring with Advantech rocket design system and pre-integrate with the sensing module and software stack will make it possible to reduce the real-time and the low latency for mission-critical application. And next, I want to take a moment, even though we already touched a little bit of NVIDIA Jetson Thor. Again, NVIDIA Jetson Thor is a cutting-edge technology for the physical application for the edge AI. And we are proud to be the first one bring to the market with the live demo at the Computex. But this product is not just only provide the impressive 2070 TOPS. And more important is to unlock the full potential of this product. Advantech incorporate with NVIDIA to design sensor bridge box to provide the GPU direct RDMA with ultra low latency, and also sensor switch box to simulate integration sensor to compute over Ethernet. By this, we are provide high performance with the sensor vision at the edge. So this is ideally for the next generation physical AI, especially in robotics, AI-enhanced robotics, in autonomous machine, and LLM and VLM at the edge. So last but not least, that we talk about lots of robotics and physical AI, but still, we have to think about that in addition that to resolve the production facility in factory. How John from Deloitte is thinking that how the smart manufacturing for the AI, and also from your perspective as a global leader in consulting and system integration, what are the successful projects you've seen globally?
Okay. Yes, okay, Linda, yes. So I think, in thinking about some areas, so there are two requirements for the edge AI. The first one is, so those areas, so will require, so the instantaneous response. And so in that case, so I think there are 8 areas of operations, so in the manufacturing facility, and so I think the asset productivity, quality, and third, the work redesign, which means the workers' safety. So are there, so the some use case areas of edge AI. And the second requirement of edge AI is that analyzing the enormous amount of data. So in that case, so that in this, in these 8 areas, so model-based enterprise, so is the area which can apply the edge AI, as so Jensen mentioned. So it's kind of the edge and the dual digital twin. So that's like with the power of simulation. Yes. So I think those 4 areas might be the potential use cases of the operations of manufacturers to apply, to adopt the edge AI. Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Regarding the global practice, I'm sure that as Deloitte, you must have like lots of the global edge AI deployed around the globe. Can you share with us some of them?
Okay. And so before touch upon that, so let me ask, can you please go back to the previous slide? Yes. So we Deloitte, so they have the foundational technology. So they left bottom side, so left hand. So not only that. So we have the cybersecurity and the safety. So that's a kind of the blind spot of the manufacturers to adopt the edge AI. But so we Deloitte has not only the the IT system integration capabilities, but also the cybersecurity and the safety so the capabilities. So that sets us apart from the other competitors. Okay, and please go to the next slide. Yes, and these are some examples of our implementation of edge AI. So as you can see, so that we are now focusing on the work redesign and the model-based enterprise. But not only that, so we also help the client to improve the quality. So through the through the combination of edge AI and the sensors and the cameras, other sensing devices. Yes, and but last but not least, so to do that, so we cannot do that all by ourselves. We use the ecosystem partners. So that's so NVIDIA, Advantech also talks about ecosystem. We talk about ecosystem because we are kind of intertwined. So in those cases also, so for example, the number 5, moderator-based enterprise. So we have implemented the digital twin, for production automation planning. But in that case, so we partnered with NVIDIA, and at the same time, and for the number 1, the quality. So we have implemented the video surveillance to detect anomaly and deviations of materials. So in that case, so we are partnered with Advantech.
Thank you, John. So you circle back to the comment I made previously, a strong ecosystem is a truly multiplier to accelerate the AI deployment. Together with Deloitte and NVIDIA, we have some of the cases. There's a lot, but we only name some of the notable cases on the slide. To wrap up this panel, I have one last question for John and Deloitte. In one line, what are the excites you the most of the future of Edge AI? And start with John.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yes. Let's make it quick. Okay. So through leveraging Edge AI, so I think the manufacturers will never ever get left behind. So behind other industries. So in the era of AI everywhere. So as Jetson Thor puts it, yes, that's the most exciting part of Edge AI.
Thank you. And Deepu?
Well, Linda, I've been doing Edge AI and robotics for 10 years, and I always felt I've been living in the future. This year is finally when the future is coming to the present.
Thank you. And for me, I think Edge AI, with the new technology we just shared today, Edge AI will drive to the new era when the machine start to think, to add, and to transform the physical world into the reality. So I would like to thank you all, our panelists, and that's a partnership which we have a thumb up, right? Okay. So let's accelerate, together, accelerate AI deployment in the world. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Linda, and thank you to Deepu and John for insightful perspective. Thank you. Thank you for joining today.